Shabbat Shalom, brothers of the hopeful elect, man, here to give you another Freestyle Friday. Got a video clip I'm gonna play, and then some precepts. You know how we do. You've seen it's been kind of a repetitive structure in our videos lately. So nonetheless, hopefully it's edifying. Hopefully it's encouraging. Hopefully it's exhorting, right? But you see the title says stand stiff, right? If you know anything about a boxer, right? Some boxers put their weight on that front leg. They say good boxers put that weight on that back leg. Stand stiff, right? So we're going to talk about standing stiff for the Lord, man. Standing stiff or standing up, standing mighty, whatever you want to say. Standing stiffly for the Lord. We got some precepts to kind of go into that, man. And we got some visuals to see spiritually what you could be going through, right? So before we get started, I want to say we give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who sent his son as an instrument of salvation for the nation. And that nation is Israel. Shalom to the 12 tribes. Shalom to the cleavers, right? Let's keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. I'm going to go ahead and play the blowing of the shofar before we get started, and then we'll go ahead and play our video for the lesson. Come. Let's see. The video we're going to be playing today is from Creed. Right? From Creed. I forgot what number this is, which Creed this is. Creed 2.
Fair use. Fair use.
I'll say fair use because we're going to play a good chunk of this. I'm going to try to, stop and play, stop and talk, stop and play,
Yeah, you're going to have to break it up a little bit because this is, I think, on the Fandango.
No, it's on movie clips.
Okay.
This video's on movie clips.
Still Fandango though. So it's kind of a legit channel. So you got to break it up a little bit.
All right.
Seemingly ahead on the scorecards, but Creed refusing to back down.
The graphics is crazy.
Creed using whatever he has left in the tank. Working the fight. And down goes Creed again, and this could be the end of the fight.
Yeah, man. Sometimes in life, standing up for the Lord is how you feel, man. You feel like you're knocked down. You feel like you can't get up, but you want to get up. So you just let out a grunt, right?
And also too, man, the way he started, sometimes you start this race really good, man, and you think, you get the first one or two in, and you think you're feeling it, and then out of nowhere, you get hit by a semi-truck, man.
Right. You might drop that guard. You might expose that rib cage, expose some of your body because you were feeling so good. Next thing you know, you cut, right? That's what we like to say here in the truth. Next thing you know, you cut with the scriptures. You cut with the word. You get cut in a conversation or a debate with somebody that you didn't think that was on your level. And now you feel kind of bad. You question yourself. You're not as confident. Or sometimes you're standing up for the Lord and you might lose a relationship that you value. And you just, in your head, you screaming like, why? I had high hopes for this person. I thought they was going to come in with me. And, you feel like your whole life has changed now. And you feel like it's for the worse. That's your flesh, man. That's the pride of life. That's the cares of this life. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, man, I want everybody to pay attention and keep close focus to all of the facial expressions that's going on, right? While he was getting beat up, you seen his girl on the side. You know what I'm saying? She's losing faith, right? Kind of before he losing faith, right? She's like, dang, this looks terrible, man. She kind of covered her face from, you know what I'm saying? Just pay attention to all the facial expressions and everything that's happening in this symbolic scene.
Did you have something to say? Sometimes in this truth, you get embarrassed. Sometimes in this truth, you fall into temptation that you never thought you would fall into. Sometimes in this truth, we've seen it. Your marriage implode from the inside out. Sometimes in this truth, your kids ain't in the best situation no more because your marriage imploded. Sometimes in this truth, you fall out of the truth, right? Sometimes in this truth, you question yourself. You're unstable, and then you give into depression, right? A lot of things can make your face look like the way his face was spiritually.
Right, man, because you got to think about it. He prepared for this fight. He thought he was ready, and he found himself in this predicament that he didn't even expect or thought could happen. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times that can catch people off guard to the point where it makes them want to give up and spiritually make them want to walk up out of the truth, leave the congregation they in, maybe. I don't know. It make you want to do a lot of things when you're in a position that you didn't think that you would ever be in, right?
Some people, man, when you come into this truth, you think, man, can't nothing touch me. I'm the one that, God woke me up. If anything, I'm built for it. And then something happened, you start, you feel embarrassed to where, man, it's a gut shot, man. We've seen it time and time again with friends and associates that we know that's in the truth, and they fall, right? And we could see the pain in their fall. We could see the hurt in their fall. They stop celebrating the feast days. I don't know, maybe because they feel guilty or because they question themselves. Or then one thing about it is, a lot of times when you fall in this truth, you just keep on falling. You just keep on tumbling. You into something else that you never thought you would be in, right? You got to catch yourself and regroup, though. You got to stand stiff, man. You got to be like a boxer. You got to absorb the pain, and you got to use the pain to your advantage. A lot of us, we use the pain to feel sorry for ourselves. A lot of us, we use the pain. We use the pain and we want to blame other people. A lot of us use the pain and we become delusional and say God given us dreams and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Just to, but a lot of times we just got to accept the pain that was given and stand back up. A lot of times you don't see people in this truth stand back up. They get that divorce, they don't stand back up. They fall into lust and to sin. They don't stand back up. Right? They go back in the world because they tempted to sell drugs again. Some of them, they don't stand back up. Some of them, they want to, my truth music ain't hitting like that. I was getting more love in the world. They go back to making worldly music, man. They don't stand up. You gotta stand firm. You gotta stand stiff. But yeah, man, come.
Captain.
corny.
Yeah, but that's how I feel sometimes, man. Sometimes you gotta try to hype yourself up when you don't got it in you, bro. Sometimes you gotta, you gotta do what you gotta do, and sometimes you look silly when you're trying to get yourself back right. And he had a point now to where he don't care what everybody thinking. You know what I'm saying? He looked over to his rib. His rib was a good helpmeet. Rib said, "Hey, get up, stand firm." Right? We see a lot of women in the Bible tell their husbands and tell their sons to stand firm. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that extra encouragement from a weaker vessel. When that weaker vessel telling you to be strong, you got to be strong.
Right, and it takes a lot for her to do that because we seen her how she looked when the boy got rocked. Right, deep down inside of her, in her mind, she probably want to tell him to stay down, deep down, right? But she knows the best thing for her, the best thing for him is if she keeps encouraging him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
No man should be able to fight through that beating, but a goddess dream. What's your name?
That's how life should be looking at y'all, man. When y'all get back up, that's how life should be looking at y'all. That's how Satan should be looking at you. Like, what world? I could have sworn for sure I took this nigga out.
Right, man. When you get back up, you standing firm. You know what I'm saying? You may be discombobulated, but you pull it together. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about, though, is pulling it together. You're going to have scars, man. You're going to have some things happen to where you're not going to be the same. Some boxers know when they're in the ring, they know certain hits that's going to change them for life. You know what I'm saying? Certain hits they're going to feel for the rest of their life. They know that. You're going to have some of that happen to you in this walk of obedience, man. You're going to have some pains. People leave you. People cheat on you. People lie on you. You're going to have that, man. You're going to have people talk behind your back, man. It's all a part of it, but you got to stand firm in these law, statutes, and commandments. You can't give in to sin. If you know something's a sin, you can't give in to it, man. You got to be able to stand firm.
Agree.
I ain't gonna lie, man. This, I don't know if this is scientifically proven, but there's a spirit that's in a man that causes a man to do superhuman things, right? There's a spirit that can come into somebody's body, right? That could give you more strength, that can give you more power. Somebody can be bigger than you, and like this, you can knock them out, right? After you was already hurt. So keep that in mind, man. You can literally push through anything. There's a saying that says when you think that you've given it your all, you still got 20% in the tank. Go ahead.
And that's a fact, man, because when I do my cardio, whether that be walking incline or going on a run, right? When I think I'm dead tired, my legs feel heavy, I can't go. I feel like I just want to stop, or you know what I'm saying? Everybody, if you ever been on a run, you ever hit that point where it's like, man, I could just stop right now, right? But to the brother's point, I do think things are spiritual to the point where it can give you energy, because I find myself feeling like that, feeling like I got nothing left, and then let a song come on, right? For some reason, man, almost like the whole David situation where he would play the harp and good spirits would come off. There's certain songs, the spirit behind the song, the spirits that's attached to the songs, right, gives you energy that you didn't even know you had. Now, when you felt like you was dragging your feet, and now you dang near doing high knees while you running. You know what I'm saying? And you feeling good. So like the brother said, man, a lot of things are spiritual, man. And when you feel like you ain't got no more in you, man, you got to tap into something greater. It said David strengthened himself in the Lord. You got to tap yourself with something greater, and it's gonna give you that that edge to get over that hump.
That's that Ephesians 6. You got to understand, for him to get back up and to do this, right? It wasn't of his flesh. It was that spirit he put on. So we're supposed to put on that armor of God. We're supposed to put on everything in Ephesians 6, right? Being fighting for the Lord and putting on the armor of God, because we can't do it without that, man. You can't. Some of the stuff that we fall to in life, if we didn't put on the armor of God, we wouldn't get back up. We wouldn't be able to stand firm. We would go back to smoking weed. We would go back to fornicating. We would go back to scamming and lying and cheating. We would go back to holidays, right? Some of the stuff that we get knocked down for, we get embarrassed and we just give up, man. We go back into the world. We stay to ourselves. Nobody knows about us no more. Nobody knows what we're doing. Everybody's like, I wonder what happened to that brother. Brother don't be responding no more whenever you reach out to him, right? That's what happens sometimes when you get knocked down. Sometimes you get knocked down, you stay down. We can't be like this in this truth, right? We got to stand firm. And when you stand firm, it's going to encourage other people to stand firm. It's going to make other people happy. It's going to, you know what I'm saying? For example, like when IUIC marches, right? I know it's a lot of Christians and people that's in Christianity see it. And a lot of them, they don't like when they march, but there's some of them, like we read in the Bible, in the New Testament, that secretly love what they're seeing. Unity amongst Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, order and structure in a world full of chaos, right? They secretly love it. They secretly want to smile, right? So you got to do it for the people that can't do it out in the open. And one day maybe they'll be able to do it out in the open, right? But if you fall and you don't get back up, they're going to think it's not the truth. They're going to think it wasn't in you. They're going to think that you wasn't spirit led. They're going to think that what you were operating in was false or fake, right? The only way they know, for example, in this movie with Creed, the only way they know that his training was sufficient was to see if he was going to get back up. He got that dog in him, right? If not, they're going to count him and his whole training staff and everything as trash, right? So keep in mind, people got eyes on you, right? People got eyes on you to see what you're going to do.
Look at them eyes in the back, man. You kind of moved it a little further, but man, you got all these spectators, their jaw was dropped. You know what I'm saying? Big smile on mama's face, right? Your wife, she in the game with you. You know what I'm saying? When you get up, man, and you start chipping away back at what you were created to do, man, it makes those around you, first of all, the heathen around here, right? The naysayers, right? They can't believe it. And then two, man, it's an unspeakable joy that you give those around you that believe in you, right? And them believing in you by default increases their belief in the Most High, because they know that's what's powering you.
Oh man, I want to see brothers and sisters get back up. I don't want to hear horror stories, man. I don't want to hear, oh, she's a lesbian now. I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear, oh, he back on drugs. I don't want to hear that. Right? I don't want to hear, oh, he doing music videos with holding guns, talking about killing his brothers now. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear divorce. I don't want to hear that, man. I want to see y'all stand firm. A lot of times I give people counsel like, nah, don't, man, I understand y'all had some hard times. I understand a man shouldn't push or shove you, but hey, work it out. I understand that's not who you feel like you got swindled. I understand, brother, you feel like she lied to you. I understand, but hold it down, stand firm. People is watching. And you gotta know that, we can do all things through Christ that strengthen us, right? And he can do anything in any situation. Pray and fast together. Put your pride aside. Even if you feel like it's your pride that's in the way that won't let you fast with this person, go ahead and fast with that person, man. Overcome your situation. I've seen it happen where people overcome their situation and they live a better life for it. And I've seen the contrary. I mean, we can kind of stop that right there, man. I get into the precepts, man. The first precept is 2nd Esdras 2:47.
2nd Esdras chapter 2 and verse 47. So he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord.
Right. So this is a vision that Esdras or Ezra was having of a tall man handing out crowns. Right. He was handing out crowns and palm leaves. The tall man was who we know as Christ. Right. And we know that the people that were getting the crowns were the people found worthy that stood stiffly for the name of the Lord. They stood in that Philly shell for the name. They stood in that southpaw for the name of the Lord. You got to be able to stand firm even though it hurts and punch back. You got to give all you have, man, in this truth, man. All you have, because when it's all said and done, you can't give no more after that. So you got to give it now while you're still alive, man. Ain't no time to take a day off. Ain't no time to take some time away. Ain't no time to do that, man. You can't fall down in this thing. And when you do fall down, you got to get back up. Straight like that. You got to get back up, right? Psalms 94:16.
God, Psalms 94:16, and it reads, who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
Right? The Lord is always saying, who will stand up? God, hey, the Most High God, understand, man, these other nations, these other religions, they got people that's willing to stand up. The Lord want to know who's going to stand up for him. It's not enough people standing up for the Lord, man, against the evildoers, against the workers of iniquity. Ain't nobody correcting nobody. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody, everybody letting people just do what they want to do. Nobody wants to be counted an enemy for correcting somebody. We know as Israelites, we correct people and people tell us, hey, what's that have to do with your life? Let them live their truth. Let them be them. That has nothing to do with, no, you got to correct. You got to stand for the Lord stiffly. You got to be a stiffler in this thing, man. You got to be a stiffler. And nobody likes stifflers. You got to be a stiffler though, man. Proverbs 24:16 is where we're going next.
I think the saying is a stickler.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, you got to be a stickler. You got to be a stickler in this thing, right? You got to be a stickler, man. Proverbs 24:16.
Proverbs 24:16. For a just man falleth 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief.
Right, man. So when you fall, what are you falling into? Are you falling in to a deeper hole, or are you falling and bouncing back up like you landed on a trampoline? Right? Just heard a brother say, when something hurts, when if you watch boxing, when something hurts when somebody get hit real hard and they get up immediately. Somebody get up immediately, that's because it hurt. And I'm here to attest, it's not just boxing, it's basketball too. If you fall out the air and that thing and you hurt when you hit that ground, when you fall out the air, you gonna get up quick because you don't want nobody to think you hurt, man.
Football too, man.
Yeah, football too.
And then you got your coaches, they come up to you, hey, get up, man, get up, man. You got your family in the stands. you gonna worry somebody. You know what I'm saying? Get up.
Yeah. And then, also the contrary, the ones that stay down the longest, they're not really hurt for real. Everybody like, man, you're not hurt, man. Get up. You faking it. You just want attention, right? But the point is this, even if it hurts, man, you got to get up the quicker, right? The more you got to get up more quick. You got to get up faster when it hurts, man. Hey, look, when you hit rock bottom, when something's happened in your life and you never thought you'd be here, you never thought this could happen to you. You never thought you would give into this sin. You never thought you would give into this temptation. You never thought that this would conquer you. Something would conquer you. That's when you're supposed to get up. You're supposed to get straight up, man. Stand firm, stand stiff, right? Because if you don't do it right then, it'll never happen. You'll never come around to doing it, right? You got to correct it right then. Nip it in the bud right then. Same thing when you're working out, right? You know what I'm saying? You might be doing sprints and you getting tired and you want to take a break. But the moment you sit your butt on that ground, you don't want to get up no more. You don't want to get up no more, right? Why? Because you're out for the count. There's a thing in boxing where when they're in training camp, it's illegal for you, and I say illegal, but it's an unwritten rule that your back should not touch the ground. You can't lay on your back to catch a break. You can sit down, you can stand, you can lean on the wall, but they say if you lay on your back, that's bad karma in boxing, because that's what happens when you get knocked out. You lay on your back. So you can't lay on your back, man. You gotta get up. You gotta get up, because if you don't get up, everybody, you trying to rep out some push-ups. The moment you pause and your muscles start swelling, your muscles start feeling fatigue, start shaking, and guess what? You don't even want to do no push-ups no more, right? So you gotta get right back to it, man. You can't let Satan dwell long enough. You can't let your situation dwell long enough. You can't let that sin dwell long enough. You gotta stand stiff and firm. Yeah. Right? You get cut by somebody you was in a debate with. Humble yourself, pray, recuperate, take it. Dang, I got cut. Take it to the chin. Now you know, you learned something, but don't let it, let you fall into mischief. This might not be the truth. I don't know. I might be bugging. Nah, man, you gotta stand firm. You gotta stand stiff for the Lord.
I was gonna add too. That goes back to like you said, training camp, man. The way you get back up is simply based on your determination, but a lot of that comes from the way you train. I'm a coach. I always say that on lessons, because a lot of the things as a coach that I do relate to real life, even scenarios like this. I'm big on, you practice the way you play. Same thing with boxers. The way you train is the way you're going to fight when that match comes. So training camp needs to be more of an emphasis for a lot of brothers and sisters. And I'm talking about myself included, and what is training camp for Israelites, right? Training camp looks like, when no one's watching, like the brother Azrael put on his story one morning. He was going on a long tangent on his way to work, I guess, but he was talking about, how much you read, how much you fast, how much you pray, right? How much are you going through these accounts that we have available at our mercy right now to gain the wisdom from certain situations, to learn how to handle it when it comes to manifest in your life, right? If you're not doing those things, it's going to be hard for you to be able to find the answer when that trial or tribulation actually comes. So then that's when you find people who get knocked down, stay down. But as Israelites, we got to do a better job at training ourselves. Fasting is not just about, Day of Atonement, right? If you only fasting on Day of Atonement, then, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, because what happens when a famine of the word comes, and instead of just one day you can't eat, now it's 25, That's the thing that we have to do better as a people. Like I say, that's myself included. Training camp, emphasis on training camp, emphasis on training your body, training your mind to be stronger than, your situation or circumstance. That's how you have people that build up that courage, that character, that sense of relentlessness to fight, get up, and persevere regardless of the situation. We call that resilience, but all in all, it's the same thing like the brother's saying, that get up factor, that factor to, oh, if you knock down, all right, bet I'm finna get up. You hit it, you throw a punch, bet I'm gonna counter punch you, right? So brothers gotta, and sisters too, we just gotta make sure we emphasize in training camp to get to that point.
Come on,
man.
Come, man. And also too, one thing I always say, prudence solves everything, man. Prudence is a big key in training. As an elder, I heard say, you got to look around the corner, man. It's something simple, but you got to look around the corner. Even when we at camp, there's a corner that, we every now and then we go and peep around the corner. You got to look around the corner before you walk around the corner, man. See what's around the corner first. See what danger lies. See if, there's something happening down there that you shouldn't be walking around the corner, so you can go the other way. You got to be prudent. You got to see the punches. You got to count the cost of, I might get hit here and it might send me to the ground. What will I do? I might get hit in my solar plexus. What will I do? Spiritually, that is, right? I may succumb to this. If I succumb to this, yeah, everybody should be real with themselves and and unreal with themselves, even the stuff they think that won't happen to them. And you got to ask yourself, what would I do if this happened? What would I do if my wife wanted to leave me? What would I do if my husband wanted to get another wife? I know he said he doesn't, but what would I do? I know she says she loved me, but what would I do? Would I stay down, or would I get up and keep pushing? Right? Would I keep fighting for the relationship? Would I fast and pray? Right? If I lose my job, I know I love this job. It's easy, man. I feel like the Lord gave it to me, but in the off chance that somehow I get persecuted and I lose my job for this truth because they saw some YouTube video, what would I do? You got to ask yourself these things. You got to see these punches coming. Even if you feel confident they'll never come, you got to see the punches coming. So when they do come, you get back up, right?
Hey, and I want to add to that real quick because that's a big part, being prudent, foreseeing the future, right? That's again, I'm just relating it back to sports, man, but that's what you train for. In practice, you go over game like situations. You go over fourth down, you go over field goal, you go over sudden change, you go over turnovers, right? You work on running in transition. You do all those things. Why? Because like the brother said, that's a part of being prudent. That's a part of foreseeing certain situations happening and learning how to recover from them, right? And again, to those people who may not be as prudent as other, I feel like there's been times in my life where I struggled with being prudent, seeing the future. I think I could have avoided in my 27 years a lot of situations by having a little bit more prudence. And sometimes we look at it as this mythical, logical gift that the Lord only gives to certain people when in reality, it just comes from it really just comes from being in the moment, right? And it just comes from taking that moment to sit down and before you make a decision, either you fast, you pray, or you just examine all the possible scenarios that you can examine, right? That's how a lot of people avoid impulse buying or, you know what I'm saying, making a transaction that they don't, or having buyer's remorse, right? And that's making a transaction that you later on down the line regret. A lot of those things come from being prudent, foreseeing certain situations and circumstances before they happen. So I just wanted to add to that because that was a mighty point.
Man, I think the brother Denal did a lesson called making a choice versus making a decision. It all comes down to looking around that corner. We've seen the apocalypse videos, you know what I'm saying, where, it's like that one skinny kid that he's holding a gun for the first time in his life and he think that he got superpowers and he just run out there and start shooting. The next thing you know, he get lit up or he get bit by a zombie or something. It's over with, right? He wasn't prudent, man. He was full of zeal. He was full of passion, but he wasn't prudent. But you got that one tactical man that he's leading 3 or 4 people, and they finna walk, and he said, "Hold up, be quiet." He tell him, and he peep around that corner, and he let you know what it is. He let you know if we can keep going, or he let you know if we need to handle business. That's how we got to be spiritually. We got to have them eyes that spiritually look around that corner. You had something to say, Denal?
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, a lot of times we get caught off guard and have a lack of prudence because we examine the situation, but we only examine it and come up with all the outcomes that we want to happen, right? We don't sit down and weigh out the possibilities of something bad happening, right? Because the thought of something bad happening, we don't want to worry about it because we feel like if we put that in the equation, some people feel like it might weaken their faith or might add too much negative energy or whatever. But at the end of the day, prudence is looking at both sides of the coin. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like a brother mentioned about the young dude running down to the street, in the shootout. Before he went out there, he thought about only the good things that could come from it. It's folly, but only the good things that could come from it. Him looking like a superhero in a DC movie, you know what I'm saying? Or a Marvel movie. Not realizing that, hey, bullets are real, man. And it only take one of them to kill you. You know what I'm saying? One thing about prudent men, he brought up the tactical guy. we talking about boxers. A prudent boxer, a prudent tactical guy is always gonna stick to their fundamentals and their foundations, right? And they're not gonna stray from that. You know what I'm saying? If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're getting too lax and you start putting down foundational principles and this truth, it would be like you towing the line with commandments and stuff like that. If you ever find yourself in that situation, that's when you always get messed up. When you think you're good enough to not protect your chin, right? That's when you get messed up. You think you're good enough to not have to check around the corner. You think you just so aware that you know nobody's around the corner. That's when you get messed up. Somebody pop out through the floor on you. You know what I'm saying? So prudence is always also sticking to your foundations and your fundamentals.
Man. You know what I'm saying? It's a mighty point, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's standing stiff for the Lord. When we talk about standing stiff for the Lord, we talk about standing stiff in these fundamentals and in the traditions of our forefathers, right? We're talking about discipline. When people are like, nah, you ain't got to do all that. Nah, you ain't got to. Why you always so uptight with that? You standing stiff. You got something, Isaiah?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it was Kobe Bryant or somebody that talked about how a lot of people kind of think that when you get to a certain level of status, like for instance, NBA, right? I'm using that because I said Kobe Bryant, Hall of Famer, even before his death. But the thing about it is, what you don't realize is that people get to that level, and sometimes, like the brother Denal alluded to, they stop working out, doing the basic workouts. They start trying to do these fancy workouts because now they paying trainers, and these trainers are, have these certain certifications and X, Y, and Z. So it's like everything that they doing is next level now. But I think Kobe said it, and correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody knows, I think there was an interview where he said he got a lot of hate because one thing that he always liked to stick to is the milk. He go back to the fundamentals of basketball, basic dribbling, basic passing, basic footwork drills, right? Basic defensive drills. And he said he does that because it helps him stay polished on his game. I don't think nobody ever can say they can outgrow learning how to do their ABCs over again, because we know that there's people in their 60s, 70s that wish they could have the memory to even think about A, B, C, D, the little riddle, right? So those are just things like, again, going back to being an Israelite, help you get off the canvas when you go back to the milk, go back to the source, because at the end of the day, it'll prevent you from trying to swallow and chew something, take on a tax that you can't necessarily break down, digest. And that's all a part of being prudent, right? Which all works together for helping you be a more disciplined person.
Okay.
Man, there's a video I wanted to see. I don't see it. It might be this one. I don't know.
This guy randomly saw David Goggins running down the street and decided to stop him mid-run. And what happens next truly shows how humble and respectful Goggins is.
It is David Goggins. I know his name.
At first, his wife wasn't sure if it was.
That's not it, man.
I'm gonna share a little neuroscience.
I'm telling
I can't find it, man. But it was a video. Somebody was recording David, and he asked to get a picture with him. And he said, I want y'all to know something. Y'all saw me, right? Y'all saw me running, no cameras, nothing around, sticking to the sticking to the script, staying hard. His slogan is staying hard. Staying hard. I'm doing it with nobody watching. That's what makes you mentally tough. That's what makes you hard. That's what makes you, who you are, is when you're doing it when nobody else is doing it. When everybody thinks it's boring, when everybody thinks it's getting old and you got to throw something new in the system. Nah, you got to do the foundations, man. You got to keep doing you got to keep doing your first love. Can't change it up now. You're going to forget the stuff that helped you get to where you was going. Nah, man, you got to stand stiff, right? Ecclesiastes 9 and 10.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 10. And it reads, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest.
You got to do it right now, man. You got to fix your situation right now, man. Because when you die, You can't fix nothing. You can't fix your reputation. You can't fix your situation. You can't fix the memories of you. You can't fix the debt that you have. You can't when you die, you can't fix none of that stuff, man. You can't do anything in your might no more. It's time to rest then. So while we're still living, man, while we have the ability, while we have the choice to do the right thing, every single day we got to do it with all of our might. We have to live these commandments with all of our might. We have rebuke with all of our might. We have to correct with all of our might. We have to show the fruits of the spirit with all of our might. It took all of Creed's might to get back up. He was punching the floor, yelling. You got to do that, man. Even when you're embarrassed, even when you knock down, even when you cut, even when you're tired and you're fatigued. You think brothers, want to go to camp every Saturday? I was talking with a brother, early this week. My brother was saying, sometimes in camp, it gets so mundane. It's like sometimes I don't feel like going. Some brothers don't feel like going to camp every week, man. But you keep going because why? You remember the foundations. You standing stiff. You remember, right? It's all a part of being consistent for the Lord. That's what standing stiff is. That's what standing up is. It's being consistent so they can't find your fault for the Lord. You gotta be firm, right? Unshakable, unmovable. You cannot move this person. This person's gonna be doing this for the rest of their life. That's what everybody should be thinking, right? You got to do it with all your might. And it's the hardest sometimes when you get bored. It's the hardest sometimes when life ain't going your way, right? Sometimes it's the hardest for some brothers and sisters when life is good. You get too distracted, right? Let's get this. I briefly mentioned this earlier, right? Let's get this Ephesians 6 and verse 10. Talking about standing up, man.
Ephesians 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Right. We got to be strong in the Lord, man. The Lord didn't tell us to be weak. The Lord didn't, he didn't say to be docile. He ain't say to, the Lord told us to be strong, but he also told us how to be strong. Let's read verse 11.
Verse 11, put on the whole armor of God that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
So we can be able to stand. We got to put the whole armor of God on right now. You're not supposed to question it. You're not supposed to be, I'm not ready. You're supposed to be like David and put that armor on, right? That you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, right? Because the devil, he don't care if you got the armor on or not. He gonna attack you. So you can, while you questioning whether you should put the armor on, the devil don't care. He gonna attack you. The armor gonna help you get back up, though. It's gonna soften them blows, right? It's gonna help you endure, right? Let's go here. Jeremiah 1.
It's two songs that you can reference in that situation, right? Donnie McClurkin did a song called, after you done all you can, you just stand. So there's a lot of, I guess you can say, there's a lot of motivation from, people who believe in the Most High God to get back up after you fall down, right? But there's also that second side, like the brother talked about, Satan trying to attack you. And you got to think of that Lauryn Hill song that's where it's like, ready or not, here I come, you can't hide. I'm gonna find you and make you want me. That's what Satan's trying to do, He's trying to find us, make us desire his ways, right? Because like the brother Azrael said earlier, it's kind of easy to conform to the world. It's easy to conform to your lust and your flesh when you're going through life and the trials thereof. But you just got to learn how to stand, like Donnie McClurkin said. But this is Jeremiah 1 in verse number 17, right? And it reads, thou therefore gird up thy loins and arise and speak unto them all that I command thee. Be not dismayed at their faces, lest I confound thee before them.
Amen. We got to be like the prophets, man. And we have to take the same commandments the Lord told the prophets. we got to take those same commandments. We have to gird ourselves, right? We got to be prudent and prepare ourselves. That's what girding up your loins is, preparing yourself for the battle, putting on the armor of the Lord, right? It says arise. That's to stand up. We got to stand up. The Lord is looking for people that's going to stand up. He's not looking for people that are going to be taking a knee, bowing to Baal, right? He's not looking for people that's going to be sitting down, right, on the bench. He's looking for people that's standing up, right? It says arise, speak unto them all that I command thee. Everything in this book, we're supposed to be commanding to the people, right? We're supposed to be finding ways that we can get this word out to stand stiff for the Lord. It says, be not dismayed at their faces, right? Don't give in to them giving you faces of, they belittling you with their face. Their face is turned up or whatever. Don't be rattled by the way things look, lest I confound thee before them. Because if you are rattled by the way things look and you are rattled around the people around you that's giving you pushback, the Lord's going to use that to confound you, and you'll be confounded before who? Before them. You're going to be confounded in front of the people you don't even want to be confounded from. We got to be like these prophets. Let's go to this other prophet real quick. Ezekiel 2:1. Let's see what the Lord told him, right? Ezekiel 2:1.
Ezekiel chapter 2 and verse number 1. And he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee.
Right? Stand. The Lord, he only uses people that stand. So he's going to tell you to stand. He's going to tell you to stand up. He can't use you unless you standing up. A lot of y'all not standing up. A lot of y'all in the background. Y'all not putting forth any work. A lot of women fall victim to this. Y'all don't pull up no work for the ministry. Y'all just coasting through life. Some of y'all brothers the same way. Y'all ain't putting no foot forward. It ain't about being known. It ain't about having traction and motion and a following, but it's about doing your best, man. It's about not being the basic, right? He's calling us to stand upon our feet, man. You telling me you've never got in an argument for the Lord, standing up for the Lord? That's whack. You telling me you've been in this truth and you never got into a conversation where you had to defend the word of the Lord? That's whack, man, because we live in a world where nobody wants to do the word of the Lord. You should at least have had one conversation, but you stand in the background and you're not standing up. You sitting down. The Lord can't use you, right? Let's read verse 2.
Verse 2, and the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me, and he set me upon my feet, that I heard him that spake unto me.
Right. That Spirit come into you. You got to stand on your feet. Right. That Spirit come into you. You got to stand on your feet. Right. So in that movie clip we watched, let's pretend that Michael B. Jordan's Creed's wife was the Holy Spirit, and that Spirit tell you to get up. You got to get up. You got to get up. And even if you can't, you don't know how you're going to get up, you got to punch the ground. You got to find a way to get up. You got to stand up, man. It's a lot of things coming at you. I know, but you got to get up, right? We almost done here. Last precept, going to 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy 3:12.
Second Timothy chapter 3 and verse number 12. Yea, and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution.
Come on, man. All of us, we're going to suffer some type of persecution. If we live godly. Now, if you don't live godly, you may be one of those people like, well, I haven't really experienced persecution in the truth, because you probably don't. You're not living godly. Yeah, bro, you kind of living worldly. You live in lukewarm. You're one foot in, one foot out. But if you live in godly, meaning if you standing stiff, you standing firm, you standing up for the Lord and his word, you're going to go through some type of persecution. You're gonna lose some things. You're not going to get the things you want, right? Your life ain't going to be as easy as it would be if you didn't live firmly and stiffly, right? So understand, it's a privilege to be persecuted. That's a whole lesson right there. It's a privilege to be persecuted, man. But nonetheless, we got to stand firm for the Lord. It's like, what the heck just happened? All right. But yeah, man, that's all I got for today, man. Hopefully this video was encouraging, edifying, and exhorting to all that watch it. We're the brothers of the hopeful elect, bringing in the Sabbath with another Freestyle Friday. Stand stiff, or as Second Ezra says, stand stiffly, right? We're the brothers of the hopeful elect. And we always like to say, just like our big brother Christ, if you're not gathering the flock, you're scattering. So gather together, O nation not desired. With that, we say, Shalom, peace.